Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel if this is your first time. This is a quick update on my 118 Jeep builds. I have a 2-door and a 4-door. If you've been following, you folks know that the 4-door Jeep has a 50 cal mount up here. If we look at the mount here, I know that before I spoke about how to get the actual turret um, into place, and if you can tell here, those are the 3 notches that coincide with the build from the turret itself. So it has 3 notches, and they're placed in such a way where you could just slip it here at a 45-degree downward angle, and it will slide in and then turn into place. It fits snugly along with the rubber band here that helps maintain its position. But along with the build of the turret itself, I did, if you as you can notice, it is quite a unique design for the turret. I didn't want to close it all off. I didn't want to just completely close this place off. I don't know why. It felt a little bit I don't know, too much, too intrusive. So I did leave this open space. It does not compromise the strength of the actual turret itself. It's strong. It's not going to give way. But I think it gives it a little bit of a better look, a little bit of offset, and I like that a little bit. So that's why I kept it that way. An update with the 50 cal. If you folks saw the last video that I made, I did take it out for a run, and there was a little bit of a complaint that I had with the dual 50 cal. Just because when the barrels got to me, the barrels were bent. They were slightly bent, and I've seen that before with small scale resin casts. I think this is resin cast. Not too sure. I'm not too familiar with the 3D printing, but the barrels were bent, and also these barrels and these actually upgrades that I got from a third party, Gridiron Studios. They they make them, and they're meant to be static, played with but not roughly. For sure not to be mounted on an RC. And I did roll over the vehicle when I was test driving it, and the barrel shattered. One of the barrels shattered, which kind of forced me to go ahead and address the issue of the barrel being bent. Right, that unfortunate incident with breaking the barrel actually allowed me to kind of fix what it was nagging at me. Right, but the barrels itself, they were pretty bendable. So I mean, no fault of, again, no fault. This is a disclaimer. Gridiron makes some amazing detailed stuff. It's just that it's just not meant to be rough played with. So what I did do was get a solid brass piece that I had, and I drilled all the way, probably about to this point, a little bit halfway, more than halfway from the barrel, from the beginning of the barrel all the way down here, just so I can make it sturdy. This brass material here is strong. I mean, this is not gonna bend. This is not gonna go anywhere. But what I did also, just to add a little bit more realism, I'm not sure if you could tell, but this is a hollow tube. So after I put the brass in there, then I went ahead and put a sleeve, an aluminum sleeve over it, and there's just a tiny bit that's above the brass in order to give it that hollow look. I did lose a little bit of the aesthetics, right? A little bit of the look when I replaced the barrel. As you can see, it has a little flared barrel here, and it has a little bit more detail down here, and I had to sacrifice that when I took this barrel off. So the least I could do is make it a little bit hollow, that way it could look like an actual barrel. But this is solid. This isn't gonna go anywhere, and it's straight. That's as straight as I could get it. It's not perfect by no means, but it's gonna be able to take a good amount of stress on it. I don't think it's gonna shatter. And considering that I went a little bit halfway, more than halfway into the actual solid piece here, then I think they're gonna hold up a little bit better. So that's the update on that. That's basically what I've done with the 4-door. And then moving on to the 2-door. The 2-door has had quite an update. So the biggest one is these headlights. I was able to modify some bucket lights. Also FMS, unfortunately, the lights, the lights that it came with were pretty cool, and the design was a little bit odd. The actual FMS 124 scale vehicle came with actual lights. They were true to the Chevy style. They were yellow, and they were controlled from the controller. Unfortunately, something happened, or I'm not sure, maybe it might have been user error, I don't know. I can't see that really happening, but the lights went out. I wasn't able to control the lights, so I had to go ahead and bypass the actual control lights, and now it has its own independent battery back here that actually feeds off of the battery for the winch. This winch, as you can see, has now the cable. It's a metal cable that's covered in plastic, very thin plastic, so you can barely even tell. But the cable itself is super strong. So now the lights feed off of the battery for the winch, and the winch has the remote control. It's a remote control keychain. It's about this big. What else? Oh yeah, well, the bumper was modified. Put that in there. And then the rear bumper, I took the FMS bumper for the Chevy, and I had to cut it in half and then shrink it down in order for it to fit a little bit better on the Jeep itself, in order for it to look like it belonged. That took a little bit of work there, getting this smoothed out. Again, not perfect, but it looks pretty good, unless you get in there with a fine, like a magnifying glass, and you won't be able to tell that it was modified. Also, I put in a little bit of a diamond plate here. Down here I also put a diamond plate. This was open, and then also made the cover for the battery. Now the Jeep itself came with this little box, and the back seat sat here, and the open box was back there. There was no cover, but I mean, that's cool. It just gives it a little bit of room for accessories. But for me, it just bugged me, and you know how I am. When things bug me, I want to fix them, right? Or I want to upgrade them. So that battery cover has magnets and a metal. There's a metal plate and also magnets up here, and then magnets down here. So then you just slip the cover, and it looks a little bit more complete. And it's not gonna go anywhere. If it rolls over, that battery is gonna stay put. Again, this is the battery that's connecting to the controller for the winch, and also the lights are also controlled from down here. There's a light switch that you can flick on and off. Let's see here. Oh yes, so the seat, we were able to go ahead and incorporate the seat and maintain that back seat. We did fill in the back here, and so the seat can be optional. You could place the seat there or remove it, and it fits snug. It's not gonna go anywhere. Maybe on a rollover you might have to adjust it, but there's nothing actually holding it down. On this one, I just put a backing and then filled in the gap to try to make it a little bit more solid, because that backing, as it only has those connecting points around, so it would be flimsy. So that's why I filled in the gap in there. That way it could give it a stronger base. So when you remove it, you don't really have to worry about breaking. The lights, the winch, the bumper. Oh, so this bumper, it took me a while to actually come across the one that I actually liked. So this was the original bumper. As you can see, there's a big gap. The original bumper came from another Jeep, and had a winch down here. But considering that I wanted to bring up the winch, so we had to fill in this gap. I think it was a pretty darn good job. It almost looks like it was intended to be that. And then it had these weird, like, I don't know, Batman flares off in the corners, which I guess it suited the other type of Jeep, but not for this one. If I would have left that on, it would have just had some huge wings out there. So that was cut and then filled in. That way it looks solid. I think it looks good. It took me a couple tries to get it where I wanted it, back and forth, and then left to right and whatnot. One of the things that is kind of bugging me is these little like pinto hooks. They're solid. They don't move, and you can't actually hook anything to it. If I had a little bit more time, I might be able to find some that I could replace these with, that could actually be working ones, but that's just, now I'm kind of nitpicking. What else? I think that's about it for the updates. The last thing that I have to do really is mount a little minigun. I'm still wondering how I'm gonna mount it. I still have to problem solve that. I do want to put it back here, but the handle itself is high, so as low as I put it, if we have a GI Joe standing up here, he's gonna be holding the handle like in a weird angle. It's just not, this minigun isn't designed to be mounted on. This is kind of like a pack minigun. It comes with this little pack. This is also from Gridiron. The barrel is straight because it's solid, because it's thicker. So I still gotta figure that out. I ordered a couple pieces from Marauders Gun Runners, and I think I had to modify this actual working end with two actual handles there. So I ordered another minigun, actually three more miniguns, in order for me to modify those handles. Hopefully it sits here and the GI Joe doesn't look awkward, where he's reaching up and then twisting his wrist, barely being able to control the weapon. So that's about the last thing that I have to do. And then I had to figure out a mounting bracket back here in order for that to happen. That's gonna be the last step. After that, it's gonna just put it through its tests, take it on a couple runs, and make sure that all the clearances work well. I've already done that a couple times, but I always, every time that I work on something, even if it's like the bumpers, just in case I've thrown something off, I always put it through its tests as well. I hope to make you some videos so you folks could see how it runs. It is a little bit noisy. I'm not too sure if I haven't checked out other videos about the FMS and the workings of it, but it is a little bit noisy. I've thought that maybe I might have been intrusive on the motor itself, like the seat might be touching it, but I've checked it and it has more than enough clearance. Nothing's touching the actual motor. So I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure what's going on, or maybe that's just the way it is. It's just, it makes a good amount of noise. It's definitely not going to be a Ninja kind of Jeep. But this has been fun and I really like it. I'm so super impressed how it's coming out. I did not envision this coming out this awesome. Oh, also the roll bar, you can also take off the roll bar in case you want to just, make it a plain old, like, stripped down Jeep rock crawler. So yeah, okay, going back to, so yeah, I'm super like impressed on how it's all coming out, and I can't wait to run it through a couple trials. All right, folks, I'm gonna stop rambling there. If you folks have any questions, any thoughts or ideas, go ahead and post a comment on the video, and then I'll get back to you as soon as I can. You folks take care, have fun out there, take care of each other.